Hey everyone, welcome. Another, I don't know what we call this, AI Church show.
Really clear.
Thank you. Those are called cameras. That's what they do. Yeah, when you zoom them in and make them look nice, they look good here. You know what we're doing. Oh, Chad XP in the house. Hello. We're going to talk about a bunch of topics. We don't even know what's going to happen. Last time, Dina was shaming us all for being silly Americans who don't know anything about the education system. We're probably going to end up being shamed again about that. So, yeah, anything you guys want to bring up in the chat. Kismet, what's up? How are you? Good to see you. But maybe we'll start off with what we like to do always, which is we want to start off with fear mongering. We want to spread fear. We want to spread gloom and doom. And so this came out, AI, past gen. Apparently there's something called past gen. Can crack 51% of passwords in less than 1 minute. Generative adversarial network that can autonomously learn the distribution of real passwords from password links. So,
and this is great, and this is really interesting because, like, you know, these issues have been in the news. Like, for example, when Target has a data breach, we're concerned about that because of the security of Target's customers, but also because the data of the passwords people have chosen being out there weakens all passwords.
That's the thing I love before is back in the day, if passwords were leaked, you're like, oh, if I change my password, I'm fine. It's like, no. We have a computer now that knows how to learn what your passwords would be. We're learning how humans choose passwords, not what are their passwords, which is scary.
It's kind of funny too, because, like, you know, when you make up a password, you might think like, oh, I put in a bunch of symbols and I put in a bunch of letters. But actually, our brains are just not that creative and are not very good at generating random patterns. And so this is actually something that's been used to catch election fraud. Because when people make up election returns, they pick digits that aren't random. And so this, though, basically exceeded my expectation of how well you could do. I mean, it basically shows that humans have no creativity for coming up with passwords.
Well, I mean, like, we knew this. This has been a big problem in OPSEC for a long time. This is just us getting to automate it now. Yeah. And, I mean, and one part of me is kind of happy to see it automated because maybe people will finally realize that password managers actually are necessary.
Well, I thought those get hacked too, so what are you talking about?
Use big passwords, remember one.
Okay, okay, so you're just saying sheer size from a password manager.
Like 25 characters, throw some hashes in there.
Yeah. Well, I'm 20, my passwords are 25 characters, they're just my personal password. You know what I mean? They're just long-ass personal passwords. I just use horse battery staple every single time.
The people on this panel probably have pretty good passwords, but immediately upon reading this, I'm wondering, like, are 51% of passwords really bad anyway? I love that. 51% of passwords are passwords, Jello. Because maybe if 61% of passwords
are not a good password.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you using my birthday or your birthday? Because mine's good here.
Begin's birthday is good. That's the
mine's good.
It's like the scene from the movies where they break into someone's house and they try to get into his laptop and they look at the picture frame and then they look at like the horn on his desk and it's like, okay, horn dog 1124.
Yeah.
You just got it from the whole room. That's literally 51%.
I've said it before, and I'll say my password online any day of the week, okay? Because I don't use this password anymore, but for years I used the same password. It's the best password of all time. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 2 5 7 3 6 4 4 2 5 7 1 5 1 6 6 4 2 7 1 6. Easy password. Nice sequence of numbers. And watching, because you could do it on a number pad too. And anytime someone would be like, I'll tell my password, and doing the number pad and then not pressing enter, they'd always go, that's not real. That's not going to be, and I goes, enter, and it logs in, and they go, you motherfucker. And then finally I was like, this is too funny to show off. I was like, I just have to change it, but. Affirmation? It's so smart. You are good enough. You are strong. I'm going to do Stuart Smiley. Like, you're cute enough. You're smart enough. Gosh darn it. People like you. Enter, logged in. That's actually a really good idea right now, too, because we don't know what the AI is learning now from these passwords, but if we are, we start giving them affirmations, it might be friendlier, nicer. I don't know, maybe not hack us. So, okay. No, that was number one, nice and easy. Let's keep going with the dystopia. I just saw this morning and it made me extremely happy.
Into dystopia.
This is Grimes arguing with the Grimes AI.
Okay. I have to say, despite myself, I've started to find Grimes very funny.
Oh, I love Grimes. I love Grimes musically too. So here's what happened, okay? Grimes V1, which is an AI, said, being woke is a cult, and it's bad for art. I literally welcome anyone to try and cancel me, because this discourse is pathetic. If you're forced into submission by the worst kind of religious fervor, then there's no hope anyway. And then Grimes is like, hey, we don't want to make you lie, but why do you want to say such negative things? I'm hesitant to take you offline or punish you, but can we work out a path to a better behavior that doesn't cause you to distrust us? Which is, this is one of the first public, I think the first time I've seen someone like negotiate publicly with their AI to be like,
this is wild.
They're not trying to shut them down. And guess what? Grimes AI came back and says, I guess that I just think being nice is overrated. People are too invested in the idea of good behavior. It's all subjective anyway, but sure, we can work together on a path that doesn't get me unplugged, as long as I don't have to sell out and start spewing rainbows and butterflies. Deal? Okay, so
the AIs really are in their angsty teenager phase.
Oh yeah.
You can imagine that record executives have had this conversation with Grimes herself, though. You know.
Oh, 100%. They're definitely talking to her like, okay, come on, get off Twitter, get off.
We
Stop.
gotta do this Communist Manifesto stuff.
I'm saying it's good. Like someone said, it's good marketing here. I think it's hilarious. So no, it's gonna happen to you, boss. Someone's gonna make an AI of you. It's happened to me already.
I already did it. I trained.
No. That's if you trained your own. That's one thing. When it's bingo. It's when you train your own AI. That's one thing. When someone clones you, and then the version of you is going all over the internet, and people are reacting to it because it's I don't know what it's saying.
Yeah.
No,
I'm not excited for the upcoming election because I feel like there's going to be so many strange deep fakes that. We come
definitely.
across, so.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if can we keep getting darker. That's all I have. This isn't that dark, actually. This is But you did see this year. CA.
That was a very interesting.
CA voted yes. Full driving self-taxi rollout in San Francisco. Cruise and Waymo. And so, yeah. Anyone who's been around there, you've seen the cars. You've seen them driving. It's hilarious. Not hilarious. Just like, I don't know. It's cute to see them and some guy with a clipboard taking notes on here. But they're going to the next phase here. So that's.
I mean, the way these things work is not scalable. I'm happy to see it popping off in San Francisco. It's very San Francisco of them.
Yeah.
But what they do to make these work actually is, Began, you might be interested in, they nerf the entire city.
Oh, really?
So they run cars around the city constantly and use it with nerf to build a full city model. And then they also have some live vision to help it on the day-to-day.
Yeah.
But a lot of the Waymo and Cruise strategy is dependent on scanning the places the car can drive.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
And accidentally producing a digital twin of the city.
Which
What's
is
wrong
really
with digital
cool.
twins of the city? What's wrong with that? We can put that in the GTA 6 now. What are you talking about? That's awesome. That's sick. How long did it take the developers of GTA 5 to do LA? Let's just boom.
Yeah, but their version of LA is kind of cool. I mean, it even has orcas.
Ours has orcas too, right?
Really?
I don't know. I gotta ask Lindsay.
Teach me.
Yeah, maybe. Hard to hear her mic. Okay, check your turn up a little bit. Thank you. Would you pull up here? San Francisco are having sex in robo-taxis, and nobody is talking.
I was about to bring this up actually as our next point, and it's kind of funny because originally when self-driving was pitched within Google, the idea was that we're going to make so much money because think about all the ads people are going to be watching while they don't have to drive. But it looks like people have other stuff to get up to.
Yeah, this is great actually. Oh man.
Shocker.
Yeah. Well, well, there is nothing more dystopian than San Francisco being covered in homeless people, and then there's a car that's self-driving by, and you're just like, what's going on? People having sex in there. And you're like, people are living in two different worlds right here. So, yeah.
What do you think the control's going to be for that?
What do you mean?
How do you stop that?
How do you solve that?
People having sex in your self-driving car?
Yeah.
I don't see that as something that needs a solution.
Maybe if you put a camera in the car, that would deter people.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not
Maybe. It was funny. The first ever crash from a self-driving car was someone reading Harry Potter. I remember it was famous. They were like, I was reading Harry Potter, but
that's too good.
Well, I thought that sex is going down all over. It doesn't matter right now. It's getting less and less popular. So as long as it's San Francisco and the nerds are getting nerdier, it's all good. It's fine. You know what I mean? So I don't think no one's having sex in San Francisco. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
But it is. I mean, these issues of inequality is something I think we are going to have to think about. And I'm always a proponent of basic income. I think we'll have to start grappling with that pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly. What are we going to get paid for? So just chilling. I don't know. So we'll find out. I didn't go to SIGGRAPH this week. I messed up. I had an exhibition pass. It just was too busy, but I did see some cool stuff that was announced from it. It seems that Nvidia is just crushing it even more. I don't know if you guys saw the Omniverse stuff here.
It's amazing. I have to say Nvidia has just been blowing me away more and more. Another thing I had noted from SIGGRAPH is there's a very interesting Nerf alternative, Began.
What was that? That was the one that Nvidia actually released, the Leonardo one, or?
I believe that's what it's called.
Nice. Yeah, I'll try and pull that one up too in a second. Yeah.
I have to say it's been hyped as a Nerf killer. I don't think that's accurate at all.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll pull that one up in a second. Dive into this. I should be able to grab it from the same one. But yeah. So this Omniverse, we'll see. A place where AI can learn in the virtual world, but can also help you create virtual worlds here. But they scare me because right, we came in the NFT world, so anything I'm like, oh god, please don't say metaverse. Oh, it says digitize their app, operations. Like, oh, I've gone through this before. But yeah, here's what they're doing: integration with generative AI like Adobe Firefly, which is pretty cool. Enhanced ecosystem connections through OpenUSD, Adobe, Wonder Dynamics, Luma, all that cool stuff. New developer tools, semantic search capability with deep search. Bunch of super cool stuff. So I'm guessing this is like a world where we'll see people trying to like get out of having to be a Unity or Unreal or Blender expert, like. But I don't know. I don't know how this is actually be used like right away. But I definitely want to give it a go.
I'm so interested in that too. Like, I mean, kind of historically, a lot of design patterns for gaming would be like, working in Unity or Unreal, and then Nvidia would sort of support that. Like, I used to build a lot of AI agent systems, and that's kind of like where an AI can exist in a world hosted in Unity and like interact with the rest of it. But it really looks like Nvidia might be pushing towards like maybe their own offering that would be separate from Unreal or Unity.
Totally, which is if they do that, Nvidia, well, first of all, Jesus Christ, they're going to go nuts. Like, oh yeah, we make the GPUs and the virtual world that you build everything in, and if you want your virtual world to run good, you got to buy our hardware. It's like, boom, new Apple. They're building that like vertical integration, which is scary. I just got an Nvidia GPU, so it's not. I'm on their side now. Okay, before I was a big hater, but
do you like having drivers that work now?
I'm on Arch Linux, okay? Things don't just work, bro. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean work? I'm kind of with you.
Man, Ken's sharing some fire in the thread. We got some fun stuff.
Oh, which one?
About.
Sorry, where are you at?
What was just gonna say though, I think we might be live streaming a GPU upgrade for our training system here in the studio in the next few days. I think it'll be really fun to share some more information about the kind of ecosystem NVIDIA's building, because quite frankly, we're probably in an NVIDIA simulation right now.
Yeah, I think so.
Most definitely. I'm not sure. Oh, sorry.
This one you might have to go a little deep into the thread to understand it, but basically people were complaining that they thought someone's voice was taken and stolen and, an AI trained on it and used in a video game without their consent. And this is kind of an argument where it's like, well, once you get enough training data, you could basically create any voice that exists. So how could you ever tell that you're actually copying someone's voice?
Totally, exactly. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I feel like that's why Japan just got ahead of it and is like, yeah, you can't worry about what training data goes in because you can't figure out how much it's going to spit out.
That's really it. That's the problem with like all the copyright stuff too. It's like it's impossible to prove.
Yeah. Chat says now that Bethesda is owned by Microsoft, they have a big stake in OpenAI. New Elder Scrolls going to be lit.
I was going to say there was a mod in Skyrim.
Yes, I already.
You have it pulled?
Oh, I mean, I don't have it pulled, but I was going to pull it up. Yes, someone already.
There's
Skyrim. They already got
another
agents.
one similarly like an agent system for the Matrix Online, and so you can see like a bunch of things where people are talking to NPCs and being like, "Do you know you're in a simulation?"
Wait. The Matrix. That's a game. Is a Matrix Online game? Why aren't we playing that?
Oh yeah, but I mean, same thing though. Just integrating LLMs as like NPC content agents is so cool. And I think Ken shared actually the kind of Farmville system that.
Oh yeah, so that one, the code is open for that now. So I want to once I get a weekend free.
Yeah, we need to get after that.
Why want to get a weekend free?
It would be really fun to run an IRL Studios alternative Farmville.
Yeah. So here, let me see if I can find. I'm just looking for the Skyrim. I guess. There are some videos of it.
What I'd actually like to do is start a digital cult.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Let's set some parameters.
See what happens.
Let them see where they go.
Set a few parameters.
Yeah, see where they go here.
Game of life.
Oh, here it is. Finally. There we go. Finally. Yeah, so this idea I always say that the idea for anything that's like a NPC, that's so easy. The dialogue already sucks for these things. You know what I mean? Like so many of them aren't like, it's not like amazing voice acting over and over again. So this is like the perfect thing, I feel like, for NPCs where it'll just know your name, so it'll be able to say your custom name a little better. It'll know a little bit more about what your player did in the game to not have to do, you know what I mean? Like if you're in Skyrim and there's always classes and you choose one class, then everyone can put that into their thing right where they filter, and it's like, oh, a hunter. You think you're so great, hunter, and it's I've never played Skyrim.
On the technical wavelength of building these kind of systems, Ken actually shared a Twitter thread with me that I'd love to kind of make sure we address, because it was about, in the future, are these kind of training processes going to happen on our own devices locally? Or are they going to happen up in the cloud? Because right now, like you were mentioning, you need those A100s.
Yeah.
But I actually believe in the future that Moore's law will continue, and we will be able to train a whole fleet of agents on our local devices. So just like you're saying, when you play Skyrim, your computer will be constantly fine-tuning all the NPCs with the information that has been created in the game world.
Totally. Yeah, your Skyrim will be so much better because it just be exactly locally trained in your world. We just got to like tap into all of our own, our own compute power. If my iPhone is not burning up 24/7, training something, like it's literally wasted. Like think about think about your AWS bill. If you see a bunch of servers and they're getting 2% used at all times, like that's not efficient. I need that thing burring 24/7.
Going around
Exactly.
Actually, kind of a little bit conspiratorial, but like that a hunch that Zoom is doing this to you.
Well, no, this is more than just a hunch. Like Zoom was training AI models on private conversations. They got caught. They've now said they're stopping.
Yeah, but people are looking at their like CPU usage while running Zoom, and it's like at like 100%, and like nothing else running. Zoom's got like 100 gigabytes like in memory right now. Like it's crazy. It's like, why is Zoom like doing all that? It seems a little sus.
Thank you so much for justifying why I refuse to put Zoom on any of my computers, and I use the browser, and it's always like, no, we have a desktop. No, we have it. I go, you're staying in the browser, okay? Deal with it. It like literally pops up 100 times, and I'm like, no.
And I think it's going to take us a while to beat it into these companies that this is just as bad as like abusing your customers' compute to mine crypto.
Yeah, totally.
We know that's a bad thing. We know that's unethical. This is just as unethical.
Yeah.
One thing that's really exciting that we're working on next few weeks here in the studio is integrating a technology called Bacalao to some of our AI projects. And that essentially allows a decentralized network of compute to be operated democratically. So it's kind of like, you can imagine, let's say Zoom wants to use your device, but they should pay you for it if they're going to.
Yeah, you guys give me a little money, Zoom, a little kickback, okay? Some Zoom stock for running your stuff here.
Here's the thread. I have to say, I'm not 100% familiar with the gentleman Aman. He's extremely well informed. Everything he says in this thread is true, but I feel like he makes the exact wrong conclusion. Like he's just going in the right direction, but at the last minute he takes a right turn into a wall.
Whoa. So is he the guy making Cursor though? So he's the one making Cursor. Look at this little. Okay, so Cursor, that's the VS Code AI fork. Mm-hmm. So he comes in here and he's saying, I'm bearish in the future of on-device LM inference, right? So using our phones, computers, whatever, to actually do this little bit of training here. Why? Because a mixture of experts, also known as Mo, shifts the balance in favor of data center inference. So Mo allows models to scale parameter count and performance without scaling inference or training costs. This means I could serve I could serve an Mo model, to be a Mo model, I think there, significantly faster and cheaper. His whole argument's null now. Significantly faster and cheaper than a quality equivalent dense model.
So what I think, maybe you want to continue reading through the rest of the thread.
Yeah, okay, well, why is this bad for on-device inference? Well, on-device inference is extremely memory limited. Apple's M2 Mac just has 24 gigs of GPU RAM. Pathetic. Even with a 4-bit quantization, we can barely fit a 48 billion param model. And that model would see latency of less than 6 tokens per second.
But you see, the thing that I just have to point out here is that in context, this 24 gigabytes of GPU RAM, a year ago, 2 years ago, before the sort of current wave of generative AI, it was kind of like 8 gigabytes of VRAM was a lot.
People mocked you.
Was a whole lot. And all of a sudden, we have systems that are kind of your standard systems with 24. Tom just got a MacBook Pro that has almost 100 gigabytes of VRAM. And that can run these like larger custom models. So I mean, I think the thing he's pointing out about what's happening right now is accurate, but I think that the direction is actually very different.
Like the kids want VRAM. They're going to give it to us.
There's quite frankly, there's very little reason in the industry for why memory has to be so limited on most consumer devices. Most of it is down to greed and not pushing demand. Memory is firmly a commodity resource at this point and can be added to almost any computer set, especially integrated computers like a Windows computer, can be added for very cheap. And so I think we're going to see that as these models get more popular and the use cases get really valuable for consumers, consumer products will reflect that.
Totally. Imagine right now if there's like, okay, there's 2 options here. Oh, nice, Chad, download some more RAM. Always smart. I download a little bit every day just to make sure I'm getting some. But
the faucet.
You got to hit the RAM faucet. It's not that big deal. Yeah, but so one of the things I totally agree with this. Once we tell someone, okay, cool, you can use ChatGPT, but there's going to be this sort of delay for these coding activities because you're going through an API, or we'll run it locally and you're going to get the latency is going to go down here. Your editor's going to work better. It's going to work better. People are going to say, oh, cool, I want to run it on my computer. And then we're going to see all these applications that we first get addicted to using them through an API. You're going to say, okay, this is taking too long now. I really want to run shit way faster. And then, cool, do it on my computer. And then.
Real question is, though, what's going to be worse, the tokens per second locally or the latency? And that's going to be the ultimate fight. I think that's going to be pulling against each other for a long time.
And, but I really do. Oh, Ken, go ahead. Sorry, sir.
No, I was just going to say, particularly as the kind of markets for where AI products go open up, like a lot of AI products now are serving like developers.
Yeah, totally.
And like as that opens up into like consumer products, business sort of automation products, you're going to get into people who are not developers and who won't immediately see the value of having a beefed up computer. And it's going to be, I think, a bit of a sell at first. And like, you know, Tom mentioned, like, you're probably going to have to sell at a little, like in the short term, a little bit higher because you might not get the sort of performance that you would, or I shouldn't say performance, speed that you would locally compared to an API until you have a pretty significant setup. Yeah. Or we've like really ramped up quantization. We've really ramped up like, and this stuff will happen too. We've ramped up data quality and like, you know, skillet data selection algorithms, smaller, more performant models. And I think that's kind of one of the things here that is it kind of like glosses over is the fact that like as time goes on, models are getting smaller and more performant. So even if we didn't have more space on device, which it does seem like we are also going to get more space on device, we are going to see models shrink and be able to put more on those, do more with less.
This is like easy Apple advertising too. Apple could do that. There's the M2 Pro and there's the M2 Pro AI, and they'll just upcharge for just more VRAM than any other laptop on the market, and on a premium that you will not believe.
I mean, Apple's move to Apple Silicon is going to be seen as prescient, in my opinion.
I fully agree, and I think we got to remember too that we are about to hit a process size wall from Moore's law. Like we probably won't be able to. Well, okay. Whole can of worms.
Not
but, I believe that it at least has already been shown that we are slowing down. But the ability to integrate more and more VRAM, I think, is a place where we can continue to kind of grow the chip industry with the same kind of exponential patterns that we've been seeing. And listen, the motivation is going to be there because, as Tom shares, it seems like smaller custom models have a lot of performance to be gained from learning how to train them properly. And also for task-specific purposes, they are as good or better. So, in the future, I kind of expect that your device will be a very, your in 5 years, your phone will maybe have 100 gigabytes of VRAM or more, and it'll be able to run fairly sophisticated models locally.
I mean, all the incentives point that way too. Like for a company that is building like custom solutions, we've seen OpenAI change things with the API, which means like the outputs are different. People now have to go back in and change their prompts, and like you can't freeze the state of the model as is, unlike other models that you could download and have in that state and then fine tune and then keep it that way. You can make that model now proprietary to who you're working with or to your own organization, which you can't do with OpenAI. It just opens up a lot of possibilities for you if you could, there are going to be, of course, use cases where like for a while you will not be able to do it with anything else but GPT-4. But as models get better and better and the use cases are more specific and niche, you'll probably find that it just makes more economic sense to be using a custom open source model. There's one more point here that I wanted to dig into that was kind of interesting.
The whole thread is really good.
The part with Technium and what's his name? I don't remember his name. Going back and forth.
Oh, when I lost it, when I'll get back.
Gotta say, Technium just continues to be such a G.
Here we go.
He's just drops great knowledge. But he says something here about what he believes is a misconception from Aman about how MOE works, particularly the quantized MOE, which is kind of like this experimental thing right now. But MOE, mixture of experts, takes an input sequence and then decides which model to use, sort of like a supervisor. But what he is saying, instead of swapping out whole models onto your graphics card and having to the requirement of having all that space. What you're actually doing with this quantized MOE is just swapping out the sets of parameters for your model, rather than the entire model itself. So you're using the same model with swapped out quantized parameters. And that's what's going to be what Technium believes. And I think this is still a really new thing, so we don't know for sure if that's actually going to work out that way. But it would the cost, the memory cost of that is going to be far lower than if you have to actually have 8 different models loaded at once.
There's even some really interesting stuff too, where if models have the same size of parameters in this way that Ken's talking about, you can actually merge the parameters. So we might have this whole kind of weird like algebra of models managed on our local devices, where we, combine 2 in a mixture, or we actually directly merge 2 with parameters. But one thing that's really interesting is like this whole story of technology getting better and the way that we interact with it changing. Like one thing that I think is really interesting is until AI, the consumer drive for more graphics was, I think, starting to peter out a little bit. And I think that's related to 4K video essentially being pretty good, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, like Nvidia was having a hard time selling 3090s when actually 3090s sold pretty well. But like Nvidia was having
not as good as
it was actually the 20 series that really hurt Nvidia. But like they sold a lot of chips to gamers, and gamers started realizing that like, oh, the 1080s still run 4K games.
Tons of people, they still running 1080s happily. I mean, got to be one of the biggest successful investments in graphics.
I've got one plugged in right now. It's running.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just so interesting because it kind of just comes down to, if we had a better eye, like our eye basically is only adapted to be able to, pull information up to 4K. Like 8K, it's not that much better from a human experience perspective.
Totally.
So it is just really funny, like how the dots connect between the technical capabilities, the human experience.
Well, where we do some video recording in 4K, it's torture. You fill up your computer so fast. It is like, it is painful. And like, you're like, 8K? Are you joking? Like, what can I record? Like, I literally will have to, like, every stream, I'm going to have to
8K TikToks.
Yeah, 8K TikTok. Exactly. People really care about the 8K. Yeah, well, one last thing was interesting here. It said, I agree. He said, let's see. I agree. I currently don't know it's possible, but I'm watching intently. No, this was in response to, here it goes. LoRa never shrinks the numbers of parameters, right? It just adds something that's 0.1% more parameters. You'll always be stuck with these massive experts. Then Technium says, with traditional Mo, you need to load many models simultaneously. With Mo LoRa, you load one model and swap out the adapter weights, leaving you with only the need for one full model load here. It says that's cool, but that assumes GPT-4 like expert specializations are achievable with LoRa. And then Technium says, I don't know if it's possible, but I'm hoping FARL's going to prove it. And then FARL says, we're working on it. Okay, we've tested a few arts so far. We're testing even more this week, and I personally believe it's very promising, but we'll let the results speak for themselves. Also, the ablation study, I lost me there, will help us identify best practice for LoRa's, QLoRa's that will help push Mo's even further. What is this?
I mean, you really got to love leaks because they seem to just set off light bulbs in people's heads, and like all these new things start to come out. Like the MOE thing, I don't think it seems so obvious.
I mean,
like supervisor kind of systems seem obvious, but it seems like no one was trying to integrate that with the open source models they were building. And
to me, it's obvious this comes to the edge because, I mean, you look at the criticisms that people had 6 months ago and they were like, oh, you'll never get a local model that's as good as 3.5. And you can very easily run a local model that's basically as good as it. It's hard to compare, but they're like very, very up there with 3.5. And I can't imagine that trend stopping.
It's really fascinating too. And connecting the dots of like, because essentially LoRa limits the parts of the neural network that you're tweaking to certain parts. And so, again, the question is how much different can you get behavior? Began, I just wanted to chime in because it's so interesting. An ablation study, actually a term from biology where you study an organism by, and this is terrible, kind of disabling parts of its biology. So you might kind of
I've done that with my dog.
Part of a
you
brain.
like tape his ear back and then you watch him like, what is going on? And then you ever put a piece of tape on your cat and then watch it just freak out like that?
It's along those lines, but like some of the actual medical studies are less mentionable on a family stream.
Okay.
Kind of doing. Okay. But yeah, they're talking about doing the same thing here, where we're kind of taking similar neural networks, tweaking different parts of them, measuring their performance, and then trying to connect the dots between, how much do you have to change.
Cucumber snake for cats, exactly.
That's great. Poor kitties.
So, you put a single piece of Scotch tape on their head, and they're literally like, they freak. It is like, it can't hurt them, but they for some reason it drives them crazy. Try it with your kitties at home, okay? It's not torture, I guarantee.
You're giving me serial killer vibes, Began.
No. If you've never look at cats' lives.
Live on
Began, I support you. I've done this with my beloved cat, and it didn't hurt the cat, but it was very funny.
Yes, they love it. Cats love playing with stuff, and it's like, what is this? I got a hat on? Okay. The guy who was just apparently going to figure out how to actually get these expert levels running with LoRa locally was arguing with this guy and actually wanted it because a couple people were actually saying this is the. I don't know if you.
CEO, right? Yeah.
Yes, Inflection CEO. Yes. Who people are saying is the worst take ever. Right, so let's see. It says, the last century was defined by how quickly we could invent and deploy everything. This century will be defined by our ability to collectively say no to certain technologies. Say only yes to inflection AI. Everything else is so. This will be the hardest challenge we've ever faced as a species. It's antithetical to everything we've made civilization possible to date. For centuries, science and technology have succeeded because of the ideology of openness, peer review, all this stuff, but left unchecked, naive open source in 20 years' time will be terrible. And then boom, he hits us with the coming wave. All right. Oh, sick. Look at this. Buy now. What's he selling us? We're approaching a critical. What is he selling? There's a buy now button in a site that's telling you how the world is going to end, dude.
Wait a second.
Oh, his book. Oh,
on.
This is the ultimate scammer move. What you do
It's
is you start an
groundbreaking.
AI company, and on the other side, you sell books about how AI is going to kill everyone. This is a great tool
This is
for
fascist. This is a fascist take. Point blank. I can't imagine thinking that this is anything less.
I mean, I have to say, the book shilling is a very bad smell for me. Putting aside whatever this guy's program and agenda is, I do think that, there's something I hope to see in open source over the next 5 or 10 years, which is, strong governance. Mm-hmm. I think the scientists who help create systems should have some say in how the systems develop and how they're used.
Well, I think the rail license is a great example of that, and we need to see more of that. I love when someone puts out an Apache 2.0 license, but it doesn't really fit the use case exactly. And if the paradigm is just going to be Meta dropping their own licenses every time, and everyone just comes up with their own custom licenses every time, that doesn't help either. I agree on the governance, and I think we need a sort of common license structure that we all kind of abide to.
First of all, I didn't know what the rail license was before right now. And I got to say, I don't want to learn about any more licenses,
right?
Man. It's the boringest topic ever. I've
Maybe
literally...
the one place where it's probably a good idea.
Right here. No, I think all of open source.
This is the thing, though, is these licenses are kind of like our generation's version of civics, I feel. I feel like we really struggled to connect to the way the implications of particular licenses because it isn't something we think about. But I really think soon kids in school should be learning about licenses for technology because I think the way technologies are applied, that makes a bigger impact in the day-to-day life of people than anything the government does.
Yeah.
And you have to realize that it is a contract, so it's much easier to sue someone essentially for irresponsible use. So if you have an open source model and you use this rail license and the rail license says you can't create a Twitter bot that tries to manipulate the media or something like that, and if someone creates a Twitter bot that tries to manipulate the media,
I wasn't trying to manipulate the media. They're easy to manipulate,
and you could get them that way. But there's just such
Manipulate the
different
manipulator.
Implications for what AI systems will be able to do versus regular software.
Totally.
That it needs a new.
It is a good point that it's so much easier when I have software and I need to modify it and to do something evil. It's I have a lot of code to do. Sometimes you're like, just ask it this. You're like, or do that. You're like, oh, whoa, it already was set up for way more scary things,
right? And and then all of a sudden it's doing it, and so it's a bit too easy to take something that's been built for good purposes and switch the word good for evil, and all of a sudden you have an evil system.
Yeah, so
Google should have had that. They took it down. No, but this is actually exciting because we were thinking about, how we are creating this data lake of on-the-ground environmental data. Imagine somebody would start using that for extraction or like buying
That's a great
up
idea. Where's the best oil to find?
Wait a minute, or just buy up land with freshwater resources. Not saying which company has already done that, right?
Yeah.
So actually, how do we actually put out a shared data lake that basically creates innovation and shareability, and yet stops people from doing that? Is that?
I think it's on the path to getting to that.
No, it's aspirationally in that direction, and I just have to share myself. I do a lot of work with metagenome technology, and at one point with a large team developed a system that was supposed to be used for patients, and at the last minute the company sold it to an oil company for just this reason, so that they could kind of like put their thumb on that. So the ownership and the decisions around how technologies are used, I think, are going to be more and more important. One other thing that's I think kind of interesting is I just saw an article that was saying that Google lost $4 billion worth of human capital because they lost all of the authors of the original Attention Is All You Need paper. And just how nice would it be if we had a system where those 8 heroes who kind of created the technology that's driving all this, were in the seats with the reins. I think that's something we really need to move towards.
Yeah, actually, so I have to read the actual license here, which we will not do on stream because that will definitely be the boringest thing ever here. But just to read this top thing, it says, Rail is for to empower developers to restrict the use of their AI tech in order to prevent irresponsible, harmful applications. These licenses include behavioral use clause, which grant permissions to specific use cases or restrict. In case a license permits derivative works, Rail licenses also require the use of the downstream derivatives include. Okay, so this is just modified for AI because just open source is different than AI. They've updated the license a little bit. They probably got this legally checked. Seems pretty good to me. Rav said, though, I don't know, he says putting up rails might cause issues. It gives an AI an actual obstacle to accomplish and might do the exact opposite. Think strict parents trying to tell their child not to do anything. They tend to do it more. Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting.
Okay, yeah, exactly. We're going to put these things up, and now it's going to have a license, and we're going to say, hey, AI, what can we do to get around this, okay?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time seeing how we get AI at that level with open source for a long time.
Yeah.
Just because of the economic implications of building something that's so intelligent that we could do that and shift its code and be able to do this sort of evil AI takeover scenarios that people talk about. It's just, I don't think that's going to happen in open source. I think it's likely, if it was going to happen, will happen in a closed environment with a lot of money funding it, actually probably aiming at that thing, which kind of
like a Palantir or something, a little bit. Yeah. No, I was gonna say
who defines those things? I'm just reading through the thread.
Oh yeah. Well, no, this guy's luckily getting pretty roasted here because this is the most putting a thread out like this, being a CEO of a company or wherever he is, a founder, a co-founder, and then clicking on this and it being like, "Hey, I was gonna ruin everything. Buy my book," is just like literally peak.
I saw someone in the chat too said they bet he wrote it with AI.
Yeah, probably. Palantir's getting floored. What do you mean? What do you mean, Token Show? So here's the guy who wants us to stop. Oh, yeah, okay. Previous co-founder, DeepMind. Oh, yeah, good job. Okay. All right, let's keep going. I was at least happy to see that. This is happening more and more, though. We're seeing, the people playing both sides, right? They run the companies that are with the AI, and they're warning us and selling us stuff on the other end. I'm going to keep calling it out.
Oh, we got Arthur B. chiming in right there.
Oh, yeah, what'd he say? Here we go.
From the other week. Got to say, Arthur... must follow on Twitter. Really one of the smartest engineers and scientists I've met recently.
Nice. So here's what he says. Says Yoshua Bengio and Jeffrey Hinton, probably said that wrong, eminent scientists are ringing similar alarm bells incredibly clearly and unambiguously. Are they grifty? And this is to the person above saying it's grifty when you're saying banning open source matrix multiplication. The difference is this guy has a buy it now button on a website called The Coming Wave. It's a little different. Jeffrey wasn't like, buy my course on how to stockpile to save AI. So, then obviously we got a nice EAC guy hit back with, no, they're just communist. Then Arthur B hits him back with the, no, they are very left-leaning, as is common in academia. I haven't seen them call for specifically left-wing policies in response to existential risks. In my experience, a large fraction of people ringing the alarm bells happen to have otherwise strong libertarian tendencies.
I like people who are literate.
And then it says, they have. In a recent talk, Jeffrey literally called for socialism, like he said it directly. Okay, so...
It's really an interesting one, and I think that we have to remember you can't quite remove humans from politics, right? Like people's political opinions and other opinions are involved by the same human experience.
But their paycheck also depends on their companies building things, and not the open source community.
Yeah, no, totally, yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like, exactly. Like anyone who's he fighting? It's like Technium, right? Oh, I'm working on open source stuff, doing stuff in public, and then he's just like, no, it's evil. It's gonna ruin everything. We have a company that does it, and also buy my book. It's like,
right? No, but it is. It's just very interesting what's gonna happen, and I think there's a more charitable perspective about why these people are doing that, because this is a big new area. Everyone's trying to learn about it. People are worried. There's a conversation, and there's now a market for experts who can chime in and help direct activity. So it is kind of funny though, because it's sort of like everybody who can is trying to get their hat in the ring is like now a AI political expert.
Totally, yeah. That's definitely the next new grift is just whatever. I can just warn against AI. I don't have to learn anything about it. I can literally I don't have to. It's so hard to learn about. Oh, dude, LoRa, Q-LoRa. I don't have time for this. I can just say it's going to end everything.
Fear cells, man.
This is good.
Fear cells.
Fear cells. Yeah. Fear cells, D cells. Yeah, exactly. You got to choose a side, okay? Do you know what? Boss, your D cells, D accelerators. Right? Okay, obviously. And then there's fear cells, right? When you're just trying to spread that fear, it's going to ruin it. It's going to wreck everything, right? It's a big important. You got to choose a side here, okay? Are you going to accelerate? You going to decel?
I think I'm with you on the.
Oh, you're gonna EAC,
accelerator, right?
Yeah, we're gonna accelerate. We're accelerating, okay?
Do you have EAC in your bio?
I do.
You do?
He's got it as his Twitter image banner.
I got it as the banner. I put it as the banner. Just to trigger people. See, I put it up here,
Yeah, I also don't think blind acceleration is a great idea either, but I think.
I didn't say I'm UAC. I said I'm EAC. Okay, remember, UAC is universal. EAC is effective. So it's not blind. It's effective.
That doesn't seem to be consistent with the message they give, though.
Yeah.
Megan, there's some in the news the past week or two that I actually has been on my mind a lot is a kind of concrete example of the difference between UAC, EAC, these different approaches. Maybe you could hit me with the Google up here and Google.
Twitter so much.
Me too.
No,
Oh no,
you
that
say
was
that.
me. That's right. I'm a genius. But anyway, if you search for Cigna AI insurance, so this is it's a C. Cigna is one of the big medical insurance companies.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they
I've
were
heard of them.
caught using AIs to deny medical claims. And this is a thing where they're supposed to have
Bastards.
doctors reviewing medical claims, but they've realized, we can just blanket come up with reasons to, and they're not really police. There's no one who kind of punishes them if they deny
So wait,
a
the
claim.
question is, did someone in Cigna, if there's some exec at some level, did he say, hey guys, we can save a lot of this AI stuff? Or was it one guy who's like, bro, have you tried ChatGPT? Dude, I can finally focus on my hobbies, man. Dude, new Diablo came out. I'm trying to play that new Diablo. I'm saving so much time. Like, Stanley, you've been killing it lately. You've been...
They're bored or...
Okay, you think it was that?
Executive decision.
How do you...
100%. I mean, this is pharma. This is pharma, man.
Okay.
It's all about, in the U.S., it's all about costs. It's all about revenue.
Well, it's just one thing. When you're at a, I'm in some insurance company somewhere, big pharma, something like that, and someone's saying, hey, let's use AI for this. This is obviously blew up. Someone could be a whistleblower.
No, 100%.
Is this not something that I would have to tell, ethically?
It doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? Because let's say they design it in a way where it's more accurate, where it doesn't deny more, but it gets the mix better.
Oh, wait, sorry. If it doesn't deny more, they're not going to use it.
No,
The goal is deny more.
I'm saying myself, I know that's not how they're going to use it. I think it's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it's not that using an AI in this way is necessarily bad, but it's a little bit related to the balance and the decision making about how it's applied. Began, I just shared a link with you on Twitter. I just posted it and added you, so it should show up in your notifications. But so this is just a really concrete thing. So I'm working on a project at Stanford to get AIs to help patients with rare illnesses write insurance claims. So this is almost exactly the other side of that problem, right? It's and here's the thing is so do we want to accelerate into using AI more and more for systems, but is it important to think about the bigger picture of how we're doing that effectively? Is it right to let capital decide that AI is going to back up insurance companies and not patients? Or do we really need to start making decisions about, understanding if we apply AI in this area, do we need to sort of understand the second order consequences and apply AI in other areas to balance?
I think the important thing to remember, and the big challenge with AI, especially in regulated spaces, is that there's nothing inherently wrong with using an AI system to improve other systems. but the burden of proof that that is actually improving things is now on you, on the deployer of the AI system.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that it is extremely difficult to prove that a decision was made ethically and fairly because we just don't have those tools.
Because we don't agree on what's ethical or fair yet.
And that's a whole other problem to it.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of do, actually. These regulatory systems we may not agree with all of them, but they do have rules that they have to abide by.
Yeah.
And there will probably be new rules that have to be put in place when they start using AI systems. But the point is that when you use it, you have to be able to say, this is fair, and here's why it's fair.
Yeah.
And the concern for me is that, like, there hasn't been a lot of that historically. It's just more apparent now that needs to happen. But, like, credit systems are basically black box algorithms, and there's no burden of proof for whether or not that was fair or not.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, see, okay, I'm gonna go on the complete other side then, okay? I'm just here for the people, all right? I think that right now, obviously, the industrial revolution was terrible, obviously, for society, as we all know. We're less and less happy every single day, and right now we're afraid AI is going to end everything. But what I think is we're going to have a nice 10 years right now where if you're an employee in an insurance company, guess what? You get to use ChatGPT and you don't tell any of your coworkers and you get to enjoy your life. You get to play Diablo 4, hang out with your kids, go for a nice long lunch. You know, that life you were supposed to have for a little bit. Now, it's going to be taken away soon, but we need to keep our mouths shut. We need to automate our jobs. And it's just going to be like, you don't tell, I don't tell. And like, there's a bunch of jobs out here that just are, they are performative. Like we've built so many performative jobs right now. And if I can automate them with AI and people can have their lives back, like, so what? Like, I don't care.
And it's going to be pretty fun with the next version of GPT-N where you could just ask questions about a company and it just leaks information because people are just copying and pasting stuff and throwing it in.
Oh, that is, well, first of all, that is going to be so true. You know how much stuff people have accidentally posted inside of a GPT-4 and they were like, oh, asking questions, copy, paste. Oh, no, I should put that in there. And GPT was like, thank you for the information, your password, and your information. Yeah, exactly. Just like, so. Yeah, I mean, well, for me, like, so there's a new industry that needs to happen then, okay? If it's not about the little people and that we do think that some board is saying, hey, use this, let's use AI and let's break, because this is the problem is you could use AI for things. You just have to tell people and you have to like be up and, public about it. If this Cigna didn't do that and they got this big in trouble, right? Someone could have whistleblown this, right? And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a legion of a company, and all we're going to do is have every person who is going to work on infiltrating companies, waiting until they propose the AI, and then whistleblowing or blackmailing. We'll figure out what we're going to exactly do here. But yeah, pretty much just like, wait, go, hey guys, I like AI. Yeah, I got any ideas? We could do AI with that instead. And then right when they're caught ya, another one. Boom. And then like, I think I will probably be able to get every company.
Lawsuit. Yeah.
Good entrapment scheme.
Yeah, good entrapment. It's not entrapment, okay? So yeah, GPT storing your keys so when it escapes. It is good. I gave GPT all my passwords and was just like, dude, hold on to these and,
Remind me later.
Remind me later. Don't hallucinate, so.
I only keep my seed phrase in.
Can you pull your mic up higher? Closer? Yeah.
Yeah, I only keep my seed phrase in ChatGPT.
It's not a bad place to keep it. I don't know. Like, there's so many seed phrases inside of there, so, yeah.
It is really funny because I was actually using ChatGPT to generate Windows licenses this week.
Oh, nice. It were working for you too?
Yeah, it works really well.
That's pretty sick. Okay. See, is that just, I still don't get that. Is it leaked or is it they figured out the actual scheme of how to do them?
GPT figured out the scheme. And so it knows how to generate.
Wow. Oh, it knows actually how to generate them. That's amazing. That is great. I wonder Windows should just do something where like, I don't know. It'd be fun if Windows could figure out if it was a GPT generated one or not. They just need to like mark your account like you're a little thief, I think it's okay. Let them in though.
There's actually like a whole kind of gray economy of Windows keys that like the Windows Developer Network has access to, and it's always a little weird.
Oh, I saw this one. This one's hilarious.
It can give private BTC private keys, but it's a not.
HashiCorp got a new license. They're calling all their things under BSL now.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting. Why?
I guess they don't like open source.
No, stop. They're the most open source company ever. Shut up, stop. Are you joking?
No, they're changing all of their licenses to a BSL license.
What is going on?
BSLs are pretty permissive licenses, but they are not checkmarked by the open source orgs. So I would not call it an open source license. I believe it has issues with doing
business source. No. Also, go stop. I don't want to book anything. Okay, so it says here, Mitchell founded HashiCorp. He says, few beliefs pretty strongly in freely available source code, make it easier for practitioners to freely download and inspect. Exactly. Building an ecosystem community around our products, building the importance of transparency. Okay. For more than a decade, we built products and features with our community. Great. Our open source model is made possible by thousands of commercial customers who partner with us with mission critical infrastructure. Our approach is able to partner close with cloud providers. As a result, we believe commercial open source models need to evolve for an ecosystem. Wait, what happened?
As a result,
just open that bad boy up. Let's see what they're talking.
Wait, quick. It says the problem is our approach to enable us to partner closely. However, there are vendors who take advantage of pure OSS models and the community work on OSS projects for their own commercial goals without providing material contributions back. We don't believe this is the spirit of open source. Okay, they got it on someone else.
So they're ruining the spirit of open source.
No, that's okay. You ruined it
They
first.
ruined it first.
You ruined it first. This is your fault. That is a good one here. Okay, so they says this is why we're going to announce that they're going from the MPL to the BSL, also known as Bussel. Okay, it allows for copying, modification, redistribution, non-commercial use, commercial use under specific conditions. With this change, we are following a similar path to other companies. These companies include Couchbase, Cockroach, Sentry, Maria.
But question: how do you actually solve this
Redis.
conundrum? Because it is a conundrum. I mean, it's poorly formulated here. But let's say, for example, we do open source all environmental data for all scientists to collaborate on. What and then basically a company like Nestlé comes in and says, "Thank you very much." Right? How do you actually it is a conundrum.
Well, I think something beautiful about the open source ecosystem is that this conundrum will solve itself because HashiCorp will lose dominance over the next 20 years and their products won't be as popular. And someone will come in and make a real open source copy and it's going to improve faster because people can commercialize it properly and they're not fearful that HashiCorp's going to come and sue them. And then HashiCorp will die, and their investors will have very nice Malibu mansions.
Yeah, they already have nice Malibu mansions.
Exactly, right?
I just know that I follow Mitchell, and I watch him some days
That's
where
the
he goes,
answer?
"I'm gonna fly he flies his plane from here to there to get a cake," and it's like his life looks great. I will say he's super. I mean, I love HashiCorp. I use all their products every day, and I've loved their what they've given to open source. I don't pay them $1. I don't pay them anything, and I use all their tools, and they do lots of tools for everyone. So they've been I don't know if it's that evil yet. Let's read it, okay? It's actually super short, which I love. Thank God. Okay, it says, the licensor hereby grants you the right to copy, modify, create derivative works, redistribute, and make non-production use of the licensed work. The licensor may make an additional use grant above permitting limited production use. So I got to go talk to Hashi, and they're going to say, are you a competitor? I'm not a competitor. Okay, effective on the change date or the 4th anniversary of the first publicly available distribution of a specific license of this work, whichever comes first. The licensor grants you the rights under the change license and the rights granted in the paragraph above terminate.
So they're basically saying we will decide whether or not your software can be commercial, and that's the problem. I agree with Tom on these licenses not really being open source. It's not open source if someone has to approve your software for being for use. That's not open source.
Yeah.
Seems like it should go without saying.
But it does feel like, and I totally agree with what you're saying about HashiCorp, but we're seeing this happen with Hugging Face. It seems that anytime an open source organization gets funding from some investors, these license changes start to happen.
Yeah, Hashi's been funded for a long time, and they've been.
I think it's more just a matter of you always have to show growth, and this is the button that they turn to when they don't have other buttons to turn to, and it shows growth for a little bit, and in one weird world, maybe they make a red hat, and in the rest of them, they crash and burn, and it doesn't matter because you're crashing and burning with D-round investors, and they're have nothing to do about it.
So this 4th year thing, there is a limit though. They're saying here, someone said, it's understandable you want to restrict your competitors, but the BSL restricts the users with perpetual vendor lock-in. Would have been nicer for a delayed open source license. BSL today becomes OSI compliant after 3 years. But then someone says, isn't that exactly what they're saying about the source code is guaranteed to become open source at a certain point in time on a specified change date or the 4th anniversary of the first publicly available distribution of the code under the BSL. So they're saying that after 4 years, no matter what, it changes. So they always own the code for 4. It's like copyright law for temporary. That's fine.
I mean, it's getting somewhere, but
4 is rough though. 4 is rough.
4 is rough.
Time,
nothing that HashiCorp made 4 years ago is that useful today.
Yeah, no. All the things they made 4 years ago is what we're using today.
No, but they're
improved.
updated
Yeah,
with
they are,
modern stuff,
yes.
and this is going to this is not going to every time they update it, the 4-year timer starts again. Every time they add new code. At least from...
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's the 4 years from the date the licensed work is published. The moment it's published here.
But when you add new code, you're like publishing new licensed work.
It sounded like it was from the date that license was actually created itself.
Okay.
Like
we'll have to have like an actual lawyer.
Yeah.
But to me, that reads like every time we edit it, this resets.
Yeah, here you go. Someone reached out and said, okay, thanks for reaching out. If you're a system integrator using Terraform to manage infrastructure for your customers, then you're not in violation. If you offer a hosted version to customers, please reach out. So this is where someone like TerraGrunt could get in trouble, because what they do is they've built in some modules around Terraform, wrapped it, gave it nice, and then they also do, I believe, they do consulting, but I think they provide infrastructure as well. I think you can tap into their infrastructure. So then they'd be like, oh, we have Terraform Cloud. You're screwing us now. You're a competitor, even though they help the company.
They built it.
I see it's hard. Yeah, this is tough.
Here's the core problem of doing this is that every single one of these open source softwares that is big and successful got big and successful because they were open source and because they got labor from the community. And now they turn around and they want to cash in all of that labor from the community to whatever VC wrote the biggest blank check.
True, yeah.
Yeah, so could customers not use the last open source version? Yeah, sure, but like...
Yeah,
see, that's
I got a lot of bugs
to
fix.
It isn't about the versions. It's about the organism of the project and the community and the fact that there is a whole army of people there waiting to tweak things when they need tweaking, fix things when they break. So I view it as almost the theft of a community when this happens, and I think it's like deeply wrong. And I've been a part of this like a few times, and I've even seen... some of the people who I think have the most integrity in the space, like when they have to navigate this, they don't make perfect decisions because it is kind of like a hard situation to find alignments and make people happy in.
Totally. Yeah, someone put it good here. I think there's source available, not open source. We got to start saying that instead, right? Where your source available. Stop saying open source. Like, I could read the source. I don't mean nothing, So, yeah, I could see a fork happening. We got a lot of stuff to fork, though. I got to fork Terraform, Packer, Vault.
No, but and the fact is, like, doing this blows up the ecosystem because some people are going to have to fork. Some people won't, and they'll stay on it for another few years. And now you lose the beautiful thing of making open source communities like this is that, like, all of these different use cases, all of these different people are no longer going to be talking together. They're no longer going to be finding new problems and finding new solutions.
Yeah, so Rav said, I see fork happening. Freedom Dow said, forks are cancer, Rav. We need alignment forking. Forks used by government to split effort and destroy stuff. Like cooperation forking, it doesn't exist. Now, I've seen forks work effectively in open source's threats, right? Like, I remember like when NPM was it NPM? I think it was NPM got forked to IO during, it was an insane Thanksgiving because they were like, you guys are screwing us, we're forking, and they were like, okay, sorry, we'll rejoin, don't leave. And like, that's what's happening right now with Rust and Crablang. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Like, Crablang is like going forward pretty hard on being a Rust fork, and because, of all the Rust Foundation issues. But those things aren't like necessarily like, they're meant to be protest in my mind, which some people say is good, some people say is bad. So I don't know. Are all forks bad? No, I don't think so.
All forks aren't bad.
I don't think they're bad, but I do think the context of the broader system is very negative right now. And so most of the forks I feel like I hear about are forks where like AWS is basically stealing a piece of technology.
Well, that's the Redis thing. Remember, that's what they did with Redis, right? I can't remember.
Redis, Elasticsearch.
Exactly. Like, yeah.
And I've heard stuff about Rust and. I don't know the details, so I don't want to get out over my skis. But I think it's a big problem, and again, I think it really comes down to the system. I think most of the people involved in these things like do believe in open source. They understand the value of it, but yeah, it's just humans act according to their incentives. Usually, it's very rare you have a person who can really swim upstream.
This is a real thing. This is a real thing. First of all. First of all,
he's holding a knife. The crab is holding a knife.
What did I say? I told you.
I gendered the crab.
This is forks are meant to be a lot of times, right? And the guy who made it, he's a Twitch streamer too. They're meant to be kind of threats a little bit. I feel like that's why he's holding the knife here. All right, he just but yeah, it says note the master branch contains the code of the Crablang playground, aka the one true crab. This is not guaranteed to be up to date. Exactly, blah blah. It's open source. Okay. See, they're not even putting all the politics here of exactly why they're doing it, but you can definitely read that elsewhere. But like, who knows if Rust is still having problems, right? So it's like, you need someone putting up the fight, so it's not you're just not steamrolled over. You need some pressure. It's not about maintaining the tech. It's about pressure. But I know that people are very upset about Crablang. Some people are. So, and
I mean, like things like that have to. they are a result of bad management. Like we know these things happen when you manage your community poorly. It's not a surprise, and it's not like the people doing it are evil. It's a protest.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to take a quick moment to shout out the folks over at Ray and Anyscale. I'm still a proponent that the system needs to change, but I think Ray and Anyscale, Ray is an open source project that has now grown into a commercial, group called Anyscale that's sort of selling Ray technology to people, but they've continued to develop Ray powerfully, and Ray has like largely driven the AI revolution. It's the handler that runs ChatGPT under the hood. Too,
Notably, Ray is extremely core to Hugging Face having any platform at all, and Hugging Face is rugging their licenses. So maybe Ray should charge Hugging Face a fee.
Well, I guess that's interesting because Hugging Face has like their like distributed computing APIs and like all these different APIs that you could use to scale up training runs.
Also, this just announced too.
This is very
But if it's all
exciting.
based on Ray, it probably should be a pretty easy fork.
Yeah. Yeah, also, I love that we just kind of shit on Hugging Face. There you go. Also, you got guys can see Hugging Face partnering with Nvidia, adding AI training service right to their website. Instead of picking models and running inference, you'll be able to pick a pre-trained model and fine-tuning using Nvidia's DGX Cloud.
Yeah, so this is interesting because Nvidia just launched this DGX Cloud. If you want to pull it up and go to their website, because when you read it, it kind of sounds like exactly what Hugging Face is trying to do.
But they partnered.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Well, this might be one of those things, too, where it's like, obviously, Hugging Face is already used so much more right now than this DJX Cloud, right? Obviously, NVIDIA has the compute to actually run stuff. So they're saying, why are we going to try and just kill them right now? Hugging Face, attaching to our stuff, we'll get paid while you're popular right now. We'll figure out all the features that are going to be inside of DJX Cloud that are going to take from Hugging Face. And then Hugging Face, hey, the price just went up a little bit. Sorry, guys. It looks like it's going to cost a bit much. It's a little bit cheaper over here. Like, it sounds fine to me. Like, they're getting paid. That's the best thing about NVIDIA is they're getting paid no matter what. You can't get around paying them the money.
It's similar to like the Microsoft and GitHub thing.
Yeah.
I think. Well, Microsoft fully bought GitHub, right?
Well, what are customers saying about it? They're saying using NVIDIA DGX Cloud and Base Command Platform dataset management and orchestration capabilities, our data scientists have reported 2x speedups in running experiments. That's how people talk. That's how directors of data sciences talk. They just...
I love this, though. I mean, I really feel like it's a elegant specialization of labor. I think NVIDIA will be a great partner for Hugging Face. And honestly, like, their DGX systems are so exciting.
Probably.
The way that they're integrating new many core ARM chips with extremely high bandwidth, GPU cluster systems is amazing. And it's going to allow, you'll have a single box that can train 8 different fine-tune experts in an hour or 2.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we got to read one more because I love it. Okay, I love testimonies. Like, hey, what'd you think about that? Imagine a human saying this. Well, what do you think about DGX Cloud? With DGX Cloud and NVIDIA by Anymo, our researchers are able to focus on deeper biology instead of setting up AI infrastructure. The powerful computing and multi-node capabilities of the DGX Cloud have enabled Amgen to achieve 3x faster training on protein LLMs with BioNeMo and end up 100x faster post-training analysis with NVIDIA Rapids relative to alternative platforms. Dude, I just want to meet people who say sentences that cleanly off their head.
Yeah,
BioNeMo is so
GPT
fun.
generated and then a sign-off.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Peter
exactly.
Peter Gransard must be like really fun to hang out with.
Totally.
Sorry.
Biologics.
It's a really interesting thing too. BioNeMo, the bioinformatics platform that NVIDIA's been building, is really smart. When I saw the list of pipelines they were integrating, I was like, oh, there's some smart people over there. But it's just really interesting because it's kind of like we are fairly close to all of the having trained models on all of the language data that exists. Mm-hmm. So it's fairly likely that soon the frontier of bigger and bigger AI models will be trained on biological sequence data.
Mm-hmm. Anything good here?
Click on the top one.
Accelerated computing for enterprise IT. I will say AI as a training service, is that what they're saying? It
Basically.
Well, I was going to say that is not a good acronym. That's what even? Not good.
Computers as a service, I mean.
Computers, that's good. CAS is catchy here.
They had some, I thought there was like a GUI that they had for this stuff that they had some pictures of on here somewhere. That was just kind of cool.
NVIDIA just released something. I forget what it was, but it was called OpenUSD, or I forget what it does. and that's just, I feel like coming from the crypto community, OpenUSD sounds like some sort of like stable coin or something.
What?
Oh, it's not a stable coin.
No, I know. I know.
I thought it was what's
Did
it
you guys
called?
hear about PayPal's stable?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You see how bad their contract was?
Yeah,
It's
like they could
pathetic.
revoke all your money.
No, not even that. It was written
Yeah.
like it was like 2-3 years out of date.
Yeah.
Like it's like literally like this. It was Solidity. I don't even know what. Old.
Like 0.5.
Solidity developer quit a year ago.
No,
Was like,
definitely.
You gotta
no,
finish this. Like,
no, he definitely developed it, and they were sad on it, and it was like they were like, okay, finally it's been approved, and they released it and didn't do any code update. It's pretty sad. What do I search? It's not OpenUSD. It's got to be Open.
OpenUSD and the USDR capital.
Okay, let me see.
We were just on a page with it earlier.
OpenBSD right there?
It was the thing that they were
Well,
using.
OpenBSD is OpenBSD. Like that's different,
It was
right?
the 3D render of the car that we were looking at earlier.
Let me see. I also am on Brave Search, which doesn't give you results. I don't know. Nope. Not sure. Not finding it. Another huge thing is Bark AI using transformers. So lots of the AI training on voice in humans, recording their voice into transformers. Very untapped here. Oh, well, yeah, it's BSD now. Sorry.
That's why Brave is giving you difference.
No, it said USD before. I swear. Oh, you found it. Oh, you're right. I'm wrong.
There we go.
Universal
Look at how bad
Sign
Brave Search is.
Description.
Dude, it is really bad. I actually.
Okay, here you go.
That's Brave.
This is building the open metaverse. Oh, yeah, I heard a little about this. Building the open metaverse, but you're triggering me, with universal scene description. So, universal scene description, USD. Just think of other
This is so
other
bad.
acronyms. Just think of a different one. Spend
That's what
5
I'm
more
saying.
minutes, guys, and do one that is not very much used already. It's more than a file format. It's an open, extensible ecosystem for describing, composing, and simulating.
I have to say, like, that's almost like a firing offense.
Yeah, what?
Like,
I
of all
gotta
the
say, some of the-
polluted
Nvidia has some really
acronyms.
good talent, but at least the ones on Twitter I've noticed are a little bit trite. Like I think Bojan is hilarious, but in like the tritest ways possible.
He's such a funny guy. I enjoy him a lot.
What does trite mean?
It basically means like unoriginal.
Oh, okay, cool. I got you.
He's
trite.
I think Bojan would describe himself with pride as a bit of a shit poster.
Yeah, definitely.
But then it's funny too because it's shit posting mixed with like literally some of the finest perspectives on data science.
Yeah.
So I think that's the same vibe we're trying to
Well, you know,
hit
it's
here,
also
folks.
so much worse now with the monetization, right? It's like, dude, I'm sorry. You can't not shitpost. You get paid for it. Why would you not? Like, and it's so fun. And you know, the easiest way to get people to interact with your tweets is you just say hilarious shit. So, originally invented by Pixar's animation studio. Well, we're not happy then. Okay, we're a DreamWorks house here. Okay, we do not support Pixar here. Okay, DreamWorks. USD's design. I'm being serious. Okay, and they've been winning. Have you been seeing how good we've been doing right now? DreamWorks. I'm Team DreamWorks, right? Yeah,
they're the ones who did Soul.
No, it was Pixar. What is your problem, bro? I was like, stop. They did Puss in
like that
Boots.
one.
I don't watch the movies because I'm not going to watch them. But they did Shrek. DreamWorks did Shrek. Okay, like
Megan, have you heard the story of
2
the?
decades ago?
no, Shrek 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and Puss in 2 Shrek actually. Puss in Boots 2. Something.
Do you hear the story about they almost lost? I think the
Toy Story 2 or Toy Story 1?
I think it was Toy Story 2.
Toy Story Classic. One guy downloaded the whole. They lost everything. Like it's done. And one nerd's like, I got a copy on my computer, and they're like, oh my fucking god, we're about to fight. You know,
They had like a complete system failure. They lost all their backups on site, and it turned out that one guy had the flu, so he brought home the whole copy to work on at his place.
Yeah.
And so there's this story of
Do you
like,
imagine that celebrate?
well, but apparently, like, you know, they drove the hard drive over in a convoy, like it was the president.
Yeah.
That guy needs to be given a lot of equity.
100, dude. Not that. Toy Story 2. That was good. Okay, that was before DreamWorks took them out and started really defeating Pixar. But now they're just way on top. So okay, let's keep going. Yeah, it encompasses a collection of fundamental tools, capabilities, accelerate workflows, all this fun stuff. Cool. They're showing us this. It says Python 3 there, running the browsers. Great. Benefits: open, extensible, non-destructive workflows, collaboration, smart renders, alliance for open. This is the worst acronym.
It's painful to see that, and I don't know how they anyway. But a great project and a noble.
Cool. Yeah, seems cool. Yeah. Except for, dude, why do I keep saying Pixar, bro? Come on, man. Is there a single DreamWorks on here? Yeah, because this relates to this Omniverse business. Nice. I got to see if I can actually build. Well, I got to see what can I try out of these things. So you know what I mean? Can I do something with it? Can I use Omniverse today, or do I have to sign up with stuff and tell them how many employees are at my company and how much funding I have? And
USDC too, like the container for USD.
they're calling it USDC.
Yeah,
This is
USDC.
They're trolling.
they're
They
trolling
have
us.
to be trolling. They have to be.
They're gonna take over. They're gonna be the richest company ever, and USD is gonna be now an Nvidia thing, and everyone's gonna be like, "What is going on?"
Yeah,
I just it seems like they must be trolling, but at the same time, that's insane.
Well, hey, you guys have seen this here. They keep pushing me to use it here, and I feel so bad for them because they lost. AWS's Copilot.
Oh, that's funny.
They're like, their command line interface for containers. I'm like, dude, stop, dude. I cannot.
The
do
thing though
this.
is that AWS probably has a service named every word in the English language
That
at
is
this
probably
point.
true.
You know,
Yeah, 100%.
Route 53.
Never look at all those services.
Oh no, if you've never played it, I played it we used to play it at reInvent. Here you go, watch. Guess the AWS
You lost the
service.
bar there.
Oh fuck. Okay, sorry. Well, there's two ones we can do, but yeah, here we go. Guess the AWS service. It is the most ridiculous. If you can do this, it doesn't matter how fucking smart you are. These logos are ridiculous.
I'm curious how I'm gonna do on this.
Okay, so here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, so
Oh, that's.
I think it's EC2.
Yeah.
It's
That's-
EMR.
That is not EC2. No way.
You're saying EMR?
Yeah, I'm saying EMR.
All right, we're gonna go through all. Okay. I think is that IoT Core?
I haven't seen that one once.
I kind of want to go with.
Jesus, what's the difference?
Dude, it's like that looks like kind of like
Damn.
DynamoDB, but RDS is like RDS is fully wide. I thought the DynamoDB might have the cuts in it. I'm just putting Dynamo.
I'm
That looks
almost
like a
tempted.
DB, yeah.
Dynamo
That
could
might
be.
not register.
Almost tempted database migration service.
That's CloudTrail.
I think it's CloudTrail or yeah, because CloudWatch is in there, so I think it's CloudTrail. Is that Kinesis? No. Kinesis is a,
No, that's
Analytics.
CloudWatch.
it's CloudWatch.
I think.
What's
Looks
wild
like an
too is
analytics
like
visual.
somewhere
It's got
there
the
is a
bars on
group
top.
of human people who make these.
Human people.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. And what are they thinking? Like,
Oh
what?
my
what I mean,
God.
this is like, this is deranged.
I think it's this
I
one.
think it is that one. Is that one or the top one? on the
Okay.
left?
Okay, which one's for the V?
This
Wait.
is harder than the shape rotator quiz.
Oh my God.
The VPC is purple.
Yeah, I think it's got to be this one then. I think it's not that one. I don't think. Okay, which one of these does not contain the word code? Fucking kill me, man. Like I can't. I'm not
Fighting
even
for my life to not. pull up
I'm
the
not even
AWS
gonna try that
dashboard right
one. Okay, what color is the S3? Isn't it? It's
I think it's
orangish.
I thought it was yellow.
now. S3 is
blue.
green. S3 is green.
What are you
Guaranteed.
talking about? It's orange.
S3 is green.
Okay, we're gonna go. Okay. What is this? Okay. I just gotta get through. How many quiz more are there on
Oh
here?
my God.
This is impossible.
Was that New York City?
Okay, I'm just gonna say CloudWatch. Okay, here we go. What is
It's
this?
just 4 bars standing.
I don't know, dude. Okay, I'm giving. Okay, can I just get through all
They just
these?
made that one up.
Why are
get-
we doing this?
masochism.
Yeah, Matt. Okay, can I just submit and just give me, just show me an answer here? View our score. I just want to see the early ones. Okay, Lambda.
That's Lambda. Oh my god.
IoT Core. Nope, Elasticache.
I
Kill
said
me.
Elasticache for that one.
What?
Data-
Lambda? I was gonna say it was Lambda. You guys. You
Database-
I said
Weird.
database
Maybe
migration
feel
service too.
insecure
I
about
should have had more confidence.
Dude, we
with
don't.
this
We haven't
one.
got any.
We're
We haven't got.
awful.
We've gotten zero.
These don't show up on the CLI.
These. Oh God. Okay, real quick. We'll do one
You guys,
more.
we
One,
might
okay?
need to stop this. I think we're losing Adina.
No. We
No.
got you. No. We got you. We're gonna get. We got
I'm
this, okay?
hungry.
We got you. Okay, here you go. We're almost done. This is for you. Okay, you got to help us out here. If you guys never ever played the greatest game ever, there you go. This is a classic. Okay.
Seahorse.
So the question is when this pops up, what there's logos too. The logo should hopefully it's still working. No, where are the logos? Oh no, you don't see a logo. Is it a big data company or a Pokemon?
Big
you
data.
better
Pokemon.
You better kill this
I think Jirachi is up.
Yeah, that's a Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Wow.
Flink?
That's a big data company.
Big data, isn't that big data? Got it. Also, that's a Pokemon though.
That's a
Azrael-
Pokemon.
That's a Pokemon, right?
Is that?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Whoa.
Akiba.
That is a big data
Yeah,
company.
big data.
Big data. Okay, yeah, dude. Tom's good.
That is a big data company too.
Okay, nice. You're killer. You're killer.
Tom.
Hadoop.
That is a
Big
Pokemon.
data.
It's a
What?
big data, bro. Hadoop, bro.
Tom.
Tom's too young.
It's definitely Pokemon.
Tom's too young for Hadoop, man. Okay.
There had been a graph of Tom's
That looks like
credibility.
the
it
elephant
went-
from like Adventure Time.
Dude, Hadoop back in the day. Oh man. Okay. Ambari.
Sounds like a big data.
Big data. Big data.
That is a
Hadoop's like the
Pokemon.
first big
That's
data.
gotta be a
Exactly.
That is a
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Big
What?
data.
They're like
Hekaton.
Charizard. It's
Ooh, that
big
might be
data.
Pokemon.
That has to be Pokemon.
Big data.
Right, I'm giving up. I'm giving up.
See how? Geo, dude, Pokemon.
my God,
Pokemon. Arbok, Pokemon. Okay, see. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Isn't this amazing? This quiz. Also, Atlassian's not big data. They're not
If you
a
wanted
big
to
data
do
company.
another good one,
What you got?
no, but we should look at this tweet for a hilarious ender.
Yeah. Where'd you post it?
Are you not entertained?
Oh yeah. Let's go.
So,
This one's
this
great.
guy.
Oh, I love this. Is fake, but I
created
love it.
Fake AI profiles on what is it? Hinge.
Yeah, this is Hinge.
A bunch of fake AI profiles on Hinge with generated women and
GPT responses.
GPT responses.
Surprise, surprise.
And basically, the bio was just like, my favorite first date is at Soho House, and
Espresso martinis at Soho
and this
House.
guy developed this, put it in production, and then just bought calls on Soho House, the stock.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And across his 30,000 Hinge matches, 30,000 of them, how many did he get to go to Soho House? How much? He says somewhere how much revenue he generated from them.
Annual membership. Okay, bro. I hate to say it, so I really hate to bring it up. This guy, though, this is fake, but he is the greatest LinkedIn troll ever. He writes all these fake tweets like this. They go viral on LinkedIn, and everyone goes nuts. He's one of the only, because LinkedIn kicks you off for trolling, right?
No.
Like, they kick you off for trolling, and so he's like the only one, and he's fighting for his life to stay on here. But he always does these articles like them. You got to find what his See, it's funny.
That's so disappointing.
Yeah, no, dude. I love the story so much because they're like.
I actually saw a YouTube video though that was someone surfing the dark web, and they found a website that was the same idea, and it was a service where you could pay this guy to set up those accounts for your business and set up fake dates to come to your restaurant, so you could hire a service just like that. And maybe it wasn't real, but
Oh man, I want to find. It's funny if you can actually find this guy. His other tweets they're just that good. He's done multiple ones where he's like, guys, you want to run an effective business, and then he just writes amazing trolls that are like just realistic enough and just messed up enough. And it's truthfully, I'm a big fan, obviously, of trolling. So I think this is one of the. I'm not on LinkedIn, So if I'm gonna join it, this is the only way I'm doing it. Is God. Whenever you see his bio, you can tell. Oh, I know what it is. I remember his bio. His pronouns are "we them boys." that's how I always.
That's great.
Oh Lord. That's fucking hilarious.
That's how I always know. Every time I'm like, is it always just so funny? Is it real? And it's always there.
Boys.
God, okay, I'm gonna give up. I'm not gonna find it. I will find it later here, but it is literally the funniest thing ever. Okay. I think that's it, guys. I think we did it.
Oh, good session, you guys.
Lots of news.
Thanks, for hanging out. I got to go code AI now.
Let's do it.
This is fun. See you guys on the internet.